Actually, so have it so the camera is just him, because that's what we want recorded.
I can't do that.
You can't?
I don't think
Speaker
so.
only? No.
No. Hide self view. Oh, there it is. Figured it out. Great.
If you want to see it, you got all the
Yes, I got it. I got it.
All right, so that.
We're running the audio into Rodecaster. We've got 3 cameras going. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on here. This is going to be highly produced.
Just make me look pretty.
Lag is not a problem. You're looking great. You're looking great. Even got on the Harvest Host t-shirt. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, trying to represent.
Cool.
Where are you calling? We're calling. Where are you zooming? Where are you transmitting from? Where are you sitting right now?
Arizona is a wildly beautiful place, brimming with over 100 brewing companies. I'm Rob Fulmer, the Executive Director of the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. I'm joined by Deputy Director Andrew Bauman. Together we cover the state, bringing you the best of what's happening at our breweries and beyond. Welcome to Arizona Beer Frontier.
I live in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, which is right outside Charleston.
Okay, great.
Nice and humid here.
Is it super wet right now? Are you getting hit with all this rain and stuff?
We get a ton of storms coming through in the summer, like so much rain right now. Yeah, 95% humidity every day. So that's low country in the summer.
Right.
And you guys where are you based in Arizona?
We're in Tempe right now, but I mean, you know, the whole state, right?
Yeah, we cover everywhere.
But you're
live in Metro
headquartered in Tempe, and then you float around.
Yeah.
Nice. How's the weather? I hear
It was 118 yesterday again.
We're setting new records. That's what we love doing. New records every day. The low was 97.
It's a dry heat, though, right?
That's what they say. It's true. It's 10% humidity, so that's pretty dry.
Yeah.
Man, that is toasty.
Yes. I was watching the Today Show this morning with the sound off. So they mentioned Charlotte as being in the top city in the country for something. I don't know. Probably tourism. Like you're in that area. Like what is that? My wife wanted to go and I'm like, really not into South Carolina. Sorry. Because it's humid and you know.
Yeah, I mean, Charleston's fantastic city, like amazing history, like beautiful downtown, you know, some of the oldest buildings in America, amazing food scene, like absolutely amazing restaurants all over the place. The beach a couple miles away. I would probably not come in July or August, maybe.
Look at October is absolutely wonderful. March and April are amazing.
Yeah.
So same as here. Don't come in July or August. October, March, April, awesome.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, no, it's we've gotten like kind of best tourism city for a couple of years in a row now, and a lot of folks coming in the summer. But yeah, I like the shoulder season. It's fantastic.
Right. I've been before, but I'm not a golfer, and I had the unfortunate experience that we spent a week at a golf resort, and you pay a lot of money, and it's just, if you're not into golf, it's like, this is just a waste of money for me, you know, like
you're like, wow, highly frustrated after spending several $100s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you go to the restaurant and it's like, yeah, everyone's wearing golf shoes. This is, there's all this, there's all the golf clubs just parked inside here. It's just, I don't know. Like if you weren't into bicycles, you wouldn't want to go to a bicycle themed hotel, but then again, there wouldn't be one where you pay a premium for that necessarily.
or a bicycle themed hotel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get out much. Hey,
got a new market here.
Yeah. So let's talk about why you're actually spending your quality morning with us. It's afternoon there. Jeez.
It's afternoon here almost.
Getting, 2:00 here. So
And have you already hit the craft beer already? Because I'm just drinking water.
Quite yet, although this is a good reason to crack one here in a minute.
So you are the COO of Harvest Host.
Exactly.
And I have done a lot. I haven't really done a lot with Harvest Host, but I know them for a couple years now because I like camping, and although I don't really qualify, it was something that was really cool to me. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what Harvest Host is all about?
Yeah, so Harvest Host is an RV membership program, and for $99 a year, RVers can join. And when they join the program, they get access to our map and our network of host locations. And so our hosts are small businesses all across North America that welcome RVers to come stay at their business, stay at their property, and there's no camping fees. So there's no nightly transaction. We simply ask our members, the RVers, to patronize the local business. And so business started back in 2011, currently have about 250,000 members. So that's the RVers, and over 5,000 host locations. And these hosts are farms and wineries, breweries, which we'll talk more about, distilleries, museums, amusement parks, attractions, nonprofits, like you name it, we've probably got one on the network. And it's a really, really fun kind of alternative way to travel and see different parts of the country, experience different types of locations, connect with locals. Obviously I'm biased, but it's a really, really fun way to get out there and see the world.
And do you go out often?
I try to go a couple times a year. I've got 2 small daughters, so I call them my little bosses. They tend to dictate the schedule on things. But yeah, I take my girls camping. They love it. We do a lot of farms, a little more kid friendly, but yeah, super fun, like great quality family time. I think Harvest Host for people of all ages, but I think that younger family experience is magical.
Right. I totally agree. Getting the kids out into nature.
Exactly.
It's the best. Yeah. See where your food comes from, kids. Some of it. So why are breweries right now kind of coming up in the Harvest Host ethos?
Yeah, so Harvest Host originally started focused on wineries. That was kind of the original host category, and over time we've expanded that, and breweries felt like a natural fit. And so a couple of years ago, we started signing up breweries and heard incredible feedback from both the brewers and our members. They're like, "This is so much fun! Like, long day of driving. I pull up, I get a burger, usually get some food, maybe have a few more beers, and." People just love the experience. They love connecting with small business. I mean, I feel like craft breweries, like the ultimate kind of community focused small business. Super fun setting, great way to interact with fellow travelers, with the folks running the tap room. So it's just been a really, really good fit. These days we have over 500 breweries on the network, and they're one of our most popular host destinations. Like, people absolutely love going to them.
I was in Tucson and doing my work. And although I sleep in the back of my Subaru, I know that Catalina Brewing Company is part of the network. And I'd stop in there and get them some posters and do some stuff with them anyways. And I was thinking, maybe I'll just stay here tonight since they're already on it. And I could, hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, right? They literally had 4 already signed up, and this is not a large space. But man, I got to talk to some of those Harvest Host campers, and they just love it. Like, they are super excited. You said you have about 250,000 campers signed up right now?
Yep.
Cool. And what has that trajectory been in the last few years?
Oh, it's been crazy. We always say COVID was bad for the world. It was great for RVing. Like, so much attention on the category. A lot of new people jumping in. A lot of people that had RVs are like, wow, like, this is the year I'm going to take the big trip, and crisscrossing all over the country, all over North America. So 2020 through 2022 were absolutely wild. Like, we went from a company of 4 people to a company of 50. And just trying to keep up with demand. We added I joined in 2021. We had about 1,500 locations. Today we have about 5,500. So we've added thousands upon thousands of new places to stop. And trajectory has been crazy. Super excited though to get the word out about Harvest Toast. And the fun thing about our business is supporting small businesses. And we heard so many stories during COVID of like, 6th generation family farm about to go under. Thankfully, I found Harvest Toast and it saved it from going to the auction block. Or brewery that just opened, struggling to make ends meet, and Harvest Toast came along and people were buying growlers and having them delivered at their camper doorstep.
Right.
And we've heard so many of those stories, and it's been really cool to hear that side. Obviously, the traveler stories are super fun. Amazing family trip, retirement journey, whatever you want to go on that big trip with in your RV. But the small business side's been really, really cool. Just seeing how we were able to support that community during a really, really hard time.
Yeah. I did my COVID trip through Wyoming, but I didn't know about Harvest Toast at the time. So I would just go to the local brewery and say, hey, server, where should I park this thing tonight? And they're like, oh, you got to go over here. So that was how we kind of did it, but a more structured way can make things easier, right? So the difference between Harvest Toast and boondocking, I'm sure that, there's more opportunities for spaces with boondocking, but the downside is what?
Yeah, I mean, boondocking, for your listeners that don't know, is camping without hookups. And so it tends to be oriented around kind of public space. The Bureau of Land Management has a bunch of areas where you can go and just park, so to speak. And, especially down your way in the Southwest, there's so many acres of
unstructured camping,
dispersed camping.
Dispersed camp.
dispersed camping is another term for it. So Harvest Toast would fit in the boondocking world. We think of ourselves as kind of a gentle way of dry camping. A lot of our hosts don't have hookups. We do have some that offer electric or let you use the hose to fill up the water tank. But it is dry camping, but it's like it's a nice, easy way to get into dry camping. You're not in the middle of nowhere. You're like outside a brewery, and if you get thirsty, you can always order another beer versus being out in the desert 50 miles away from anywhere. So we certainly fit within the boondocking and dry camping space, but a much different experience, a little more interaction, a lot more kind of experiencing a business or seeing a farm or grabbing a bite to eat.
And I know for me, when I go with no plans at all, which Rob loves, he's like, where are you going tonight? I'm like, wherever I stop. Sometimes it can be challenging to find that space. Like you think you're going to find this road's going to be great. And then you just look and you go, oh my gosh, there's mountains up and there's mountains down and there's nowhere to pull over. So I think having like a map of not only places, but also people who welcome you, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and we've got a great mobile app. We got a great website. Like you can check out that map. You can see who offers same day stay requests. It sounds like you're a last minute spontaneous traveler. Like we've certainly got hosts that welcome those folks in. Our breweries are great for it too, just because they tend to be open later. They tend to have food which people are looking for after a long day on the road, and it's a really good use case. And sure beats staying at like a highway rest stop.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's talk about that because I used to backpack, I used to car camp, but I really haven't in a lot of years. And Andrew knows we looked at trailers and we looked at things about the pandemic time, but beyond that, and we kind of put it on the back burner. But let's just say today I'm like, hey, I got this teardrop trailer, or I've got this. I have more technical questions later, so let's just say I have this RV with I think I want to take a trip this weekend. So not knowing anything about anything, what is my experience with Harvest Toast? What would I do right now to utilize your service, and what could I expect? So I'd get on the computer, I'd get on my phone, and
go. So you go to harvesttoast.com, you buy a membership, pay your $99. You immediately get access to our map, and you can enter your route. You can search in a region. You can filter it by different, your rig length, the nights you want to go, the types of host you want to stay at. really narrow it down, and then you can start checking out profiles of different locations, check out their photos, read the description, skim through reviews from other folks that have stayed there. We bubble up their ratings, how long they've been on the network. So super easy. You can think of it kind of like an Airbnb, right? Like just click around, check out different locations. And then if something strikes your fancy, we've got a little calendar widget. You click, I would like to request to stay on this night, hit send, and then the host will get back to you and say, your stay's been approved. We're ready to rock. We've got a message tool built in there so you can message with the host, and a bunch of other nice technology. It connects to your GPS, click to call them if you have questions. Super easy. And then hit the road when the day comes around, roll into your Harvest Host, enjoy the experience. So if you're at a brewery, do the tasting, check out the tap room. If you're at a farm, do the tour. If you're at a museum, buy a ticket. Stay the night, have a great night of sleep, and then hit the road the next morning and do it all over again. And so super, super easy to use. We pride ourselves on having great technology and then also just amazing experiences that you're not going to find anywhere else.
So it's $99 for a year, or is that a one-time fee, or how does that work?
That's per year.
Okay.
And so you can use Harvest Host as much as you want. If you want to stay 365 nights, go for it. We do have some restrictions. The host, the program only entitles you to one night stay. So it's not meant to replace, you can't go somewhere and park for 2 weeks and set up camp. It's really meant to be an overnight stay. Although some of our hosts do offer multi-nights. So if you want to stay somewhere an extra night, you can always ask the host about that. And, some charge for that, some don't. But the core program is really that single overnight stay. Support the business. We encourage our members to spend $30, which most people well exceed. Easy to do, especially at a brewery. And so the host is getting more marketing. They're getting more foot traffic. They're meeting some really cool folks. And you're getting to stay at amazing locations and have a great time along the road trip.
So as a business operator, what would be my day one through and then through the experience of accepting guests and communicating and interfacing with you as a company? What kinds of feedback are they able to give you and their guests and that kind of thing? So just start with hey, we're a business. We could get permission from our landlord to.
So
we wouldn't though.
It would be boring to stay here. Like we're not here after 4 p.m. It would be terrible.
We do look for businesses with experiences and that kind of fits our brand. So say you're a brewery in Arizona. Keep it on topic here, and you heard the Harvest Host name. You're trying to figure out what it's all about. You can go to our website. There's a tab at the top that says Start Hosting. Click on that. You can fill out a form. And from there, you can either fill out the full application, like, here's my write-up, here's my pictures, here's our GPS coordinates, whatever. Or you can hang tight for a couple hours and we'll actually pick up the phone and call you. And so if you want to talk to somebody, in person, somebody on my team will call you. They'll answer any questions you might have, explain the program, help understand who else might be in your area, other folks that have had success on the program. But anyhow, basically get the application filled out. We have an onboarding team that makes sure you're comfortable with how the profile looks. You've got your calendar set up in the way you want. We'll help walk you through the app and how to use the calendar system. And then we put you live on the site, and people start making requests to stay. It's that simple. On the other side, our hosts get a notification, email, text message, whatever they opt into, and they can approve those stays, and then folks show up and spend money. So it's really that simple.
Do they have like a interface that's different? Do they have a login? Do they have sort of collection point? Because as you might imagine, might be multiple people on the brewery side either approving or managing people's experience. How does that work?
So we've got a whole kind of host side of the platform, and they've got a dashboard. They can see past stays, upcoming stays, future stays. They can use the message center to communicate with hosts. They can edit their profile. They can block their calendars. Super, super simple to use on the host side as well. And if you are a brewery and have multiple folks working the front desk or managing a program like this, we can either set up kind of your general business email address so you can get logged in, put it on, your host stand iPad as a program, or we can set up multiple users. Like, our goal is to support small business however we can. And so we built a ton of features and tools to make it easy to fit into your operations. We're not trying to change how a brewery works. We want to make it as simple as possible because we know that this isn't people's first jobs. This is a secondary or tertiary revenue stream. And our goal is to make being a host as easy as possible so that you can focus on your core business and just have more customers coming through the door.
And for customers, what is what kind of vehicles can they use for this program?
Yeah. So we're open to all types of RVs and trailers. We have one requirement, which is you're self-contained. Basically, bring your own bathroom. We don't want people using the facilities outside or relying on the business for a bathroom. And then we also ask that you be able to eat within your rig. So like no outdoor cooking for safety reasons. But we obviously have kind of all your standard looking RVs, your big old coach buses, your Sprinter vans, your travel trailers. And then we also have got some unusual ones. We've got some converted vans. We've got converted school buses, schoolies as they're known, which are kind of wild and different. But as long as you've got a toilet and some sort of kitchen, you're welcome to join the program.
Cool.
Yeah, that was basically my question, because this is why we didn't go with a teardrop trailer, because the bathroom thing. I mean, there are some things you can solve that problem with, but it's more of a personal thing. And then so that once you decide against that, you're talking about a whole magnitude or order of complicated and expensive things, at least when you're making the initial decision. So we were joking, about what kind of bathroom counts as a bathroom. I don't know if you get people sort of gaming the system like that, or let's just say Rob is. I just decide. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Here's my bathroom. It's a Maxwell House coffee can. Do you understand where that would be a problem? So how do you work out these problems with the business owners and the customers and you all? That's a simple.
We have a member support team, and they help answer questions on the other side of the network. And so, if Rob wants to say, "Hey, I've got a teardrop in a Maxwell can. Can I join?" We'll say, "I don't know about the Maxwell can. We might need a little bit more of a self-contained toilet." Or if you try to game the system and you show up somewhere and you make a mess or you're not respectful of facilities, the host can come to us and we'll help figure out the member issues as well. And we're a dual-sided marketplace. It doesn't happen often, but every now and then we'll have to kick off a member, and every now and then we'll have to kick off a host. And we do that because bad apples can spoil the whole bunch. But the nice thing about the RV community is it's good people. It's a lot of salt of the earth people. And same thing on the small business side of things. It's good people. They're salt of the earth people. So they tend to get along super, super well. And it's funny, we do these host surveys. We ask them, what's going well? How's Harvest Host working out for you? And one of the things we ask is, why did you join? And then what do you like about the program now? People always join for the money and the marketing. It's I was looking for more traffic, more customers, a free marketing platform, albeit to RVers. And then you ask them 6 months, a year later, and they're like, the people's number one. I love meeting people. Your members have the coolest stories. I met people from all over the world. They've got amazing trips they're on, they're planning, or whatever it might be. And then the money second. So it's kind of fun to see that evolution over time. Super consistent. We hear it year after year. You come for the money, you stay for the members. It really is a community in a lot of regards, and it's cool to see that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm being facetious. Obviously, I'm the hotel guy, so only so I would never.
They did consider it for that.
No. But I was thinking about this is you're tapping into a different kind of network with breweries as opposed to wineries. I think there's a desire to transmit information. It's very transactional. I'm sure that's why people get into RVing. It's why people sometimes, if they have a choice, they prefer Airbnb over a hotel, even though the interaction part is very minimal. I was never into Airbnb until we started to have to use it for financial reasons, and also because you can be closer to events and closer to neighborhoods and closer to our businesses. But we would sort of be Airbnb anthropologists. We would go, there you go. Oh, this furniture? That furniture was the dude's furniture before they got married. And it got kicked out of the house. And he sat on it as long as he could. And he finally has a place to put it now. They have this joint business venture. So that is that coffee table from 1994.
Yep.
You know,
So I know that one well.
So definitely that's where I see a good relationship between our breweries and RV customers. And I think, you know, we're struggling with getting our members to understand that you can have different versions of your business for different types of customers. And I know there's no discounting necessarily in this program, but it is a discount in terms of like, hey, if they actually wanted to get in the business of being a full-time RV host, you know, with hookups and all that, that's a business, but this is something that they don't need to do any of that stuff. And most of them would never graduate to that because they don't have the time and I guess the margins are pretty low, probably, I'm guessing. So this is a good entree, but like, you know, it's getting our businesses to understand like the thing that you do for the RVers is the thing you do for the RVers, and the thing you do for your crosstown customers is different. You have a different message. You have to use different platforms to attract somebody in your hometown that has to get in their car and drive across town versus, you know, people who are coming for large events like here, the Super Bowl, the Final Four. They have a different type of messaging. So, you know, it's
The
good
Rock
for
and
us.
Gem Show.
Yeah, believe it or not.
It's a big deal.
In Tucson, it's a very big deal.
I was gonna say, like, to the brewers out there that are on the fence. I mean, the nice thing about Harvest Host is there's no cost. We don't charge our hosts anything to join the platform, to be on the platform. You know, whatever you bring in from customers visiting your tap room and patronizing your business, we don't take a penny of that. And it's actually something we're super proud of. Like, we love supporting small businesses. And, you know, we've got almost around 600 breweries on the platform. So clearly it's working for this category. It's not, you know, if Harvest Host wasn't a good program, we'd one, be out of business, and two, these 600 breweries would have gotten off the platform a long time ago. And so I think there's some social proof there.
I've also noticed that you have places to stay, rural and urban, and like everywhere.
Yeah.
All 50 states?
Yeah. I think we got like one or two in Hawaii, not a big RV destination, but I mean, we've got everything from, you know, Florida to Alaska. Like, I love seeing the diversity. And then from Maine to Nevada, like, we're everywhere, which is fun. We're also in Canada for our Canadian listeners out there. But the, you know, our ethos has always been support small business, let them run their business. Like, a small business owner knows way more about running their business than we do. And so we just say, look, we're going to bring you some customers. They happen to drive slightly bigger vehicles. We think you're going to like them. And by the way, there's no cost to join. We're not going to take a penny of those sales. It's a cool marketing platform. And we're here to help if you have any questions. And if you don't like it, you don't have to stay. That's the other thing, right? Like, if you're a brewery and you join and it's just not a good fit, no harm, no foul. Like, we're not going to be upset. Obviously, we'd love to have more breweries, but it's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine too. Or you learn, you know, you thought your parking lot was big enough, but it's just not quite the right angles for some folks to turn around, and you know, whatever it might be. Like,
let's
if
talk
you
about
need
that
to
just a
bow
little
out,
bit.
that's totally fine.
Let's talk about that just a little bit, and know that we do have people to answer those questions. If our businesses ask us, we have resources for the same kind of questions. But I would imagine one thing that comes up is probably like, how do I work this out with my landlord, and or what kind of insurance do I need? Do you have those kinds of resources, or do you have people on your team that can get those resources to people who are interested in that?
Yeah, so we're happy to answer all those questions on a one-by-one basis. I mean, I think, our goal is to provide a hands-on interaction if you need it when you're getting set up, and to help you be successful on the platform. We want all our hosts to do well, and happy to connect you with resources if you need them. But yeah, parking tends to be the big one with breweries, just because a lot of them are more urban and either don't own their parking lot, or the parking lot's pretty tight to begin with. And so, one, I'd say work with your landlord. Landlords tend to like successful businesses as long as the risk profile doesn't get too high, and our members are, very respectable. They tend to skew a bit older. Like, they're good customers. Those are the folks you want in the parking lot. You don't have to do it on busy nights too. Like, if Saturday's too busy, just do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Or, if you only want to do it during shoulder season, right? Like, you can block out the summer. So we've got all the tools built in to make it super easy to fit your business, because we understand every businesses have their own needs and nuances, and we work around that.
Right on. Hey, let's talk beer. Yeah. Tell me about your favorite craft beer experience.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, and I was reflecting on. I used to live in Chicago, and I loved Off Color Brewing. I don't know if you ever had their beer, but yeah, good Chicago beer. And so right after my first daughter was born, it was like a cold, dreary Chicago winter day, and my wife and I were, overwhelmed new parents. I was trying to enjoy a couple weeks of paternity leave, and we snuck out to Off Color, took our, teeny tiny daughter all bundled up, and just had a chill afternoon. Felt like real people again, having a beer, enjoying the tap room. So kind of a subtle memory, but like a good, just felt like a person while having a craft beer and enjoying life as a family of three.
Cool. Dig it.
Yeah, we're pretty familiar with that brewery where I am. Originally from Milwaukee, but that didn't exist when I lived there. But I go to Chicago quite a bit, and they've done collaboration beers with Oso here from Phoenix, and I've been there a number of times. But that neighborhood is very interesting. It's high rent, right? There's a Whole Foods, and literally across the street is a strip club, which is probably the only place in the world where that exists. But you wouldn't know it if you didn't read the sign. It's like it, because it is a high rent district. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Chicago. To me, people say that San Diego is the top beer town in America. I say no, Chicago definitely.
Yeah, we drank a lot of beer in Chicago, so yeah, great beer scene there.
Well, hey, Wes, thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully we're going to get some members signed up. We're going to get some of our breweries on board, and we'll have a meeting of the minds between RVers and breweries. I love it.
Yeah, there's got to be plenty of space for more Harvest Toast breweries, I would imagine. And
I was looking at the map, and we've got just a handful in Arizona, and I'd love to see a lot more, because I think it's a great fit, and I think the Arizona brewers would be particularly popular given how many folks in the RV world are cruising through Arizona every year.
Right.
Yeah, well, we do travel a lot of the states, so we'll identify those opportunities, I think.
For sure. Cool. Well, thanks
great.
again.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Have a great rest of your day.
Yes, Andrew Bauman.
We just got off a call with Wes Clark from Wes Clark. It seems like a name from a comic book. Like Wes Clark saves the day again. I know, like Clark Kent and the number of letters and all that, but still.
I was thinking like a general.
Yeah.
I wonder if there is a general.
It's a pretty cool name, which is
There is a general.
totally not what we should be talking about. But here we are. So Harvest Hosts, I love the program. I have loved it for years, and I'm very glad that they are now part of the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild Allied member group.
And they did not pay extra for our time with him.
No, they paid a regular Allied member.
Right.
thing. I've been saying, hey,
I just
look,
want to be able to
let's
say
get
no
some-
goods or services were exchanged for
That's right.
Because we'll talk to anybody if they have an idea that makes sense for us to talk about.
I have ally members that want to talk with us and share their story. But I think that one is particularly compelling and can really change or it can really help a lot of our members. So yeah, there's one thing. A lot of places just want to incremental. I think if you could get an extra 20 RVers a week at your brewery, that would be a pretty big deal.
Well, and it taps into something that that I mentioned in the discussion is like there's people who know things and there's an exchange of information, there's an exchange of experience. It's something that we have as we do our job. That's why we do this podcast in some respects, but it's not the most efficient transmission of the things that we know. And, we're trying to figure out how that can be mutually beneficial to our members and the people who listen and the people who drink beer, the people who live in Arizona. I'm just not sure what that is, but this is something that, experientially, if I had to do it all over again, maybe I would have an RV and I would have a little bit more time to spend networking like that. It's still working, but it's just, I can't go back in time.
No, we can't.
So,
But we can.
can we?
Yeah, we can go back to 4th of July, which is just a few days ago.
Oh, okay.
Got you. I spent my nice long weekend. Bonnie took 2 days off of work. She gets a bucket of PTO. It does not coordinate with holidays necessarily, but she is able to take those days off if she wants, which she did.
Right on.
And we had a nice long weekend at San Marcos, the resort in downtown Chandler. It's not called that. It's now the IHG Crown Plaza.
Oh man, it's going to be San Marcos until I die.
Yeah, it's still San Marcos Golf Course, so I just still say it.
Right.
And let me tell you a little something. It was 115 degrees out there. We spent the entire time at the pool. And I had a lot of beer value
Yeah. Good.
in me. Oops. They have Santan Juicy Jack there.
Good.
There you go.
No,
I wish they had more Arizona beers, but they
Yeah.
don't. We went out on Saturday. We went out Saturday and walked around downtown Chandler. And something that I learned is live music is very, very loud. I don't like it. And if they don't have live music, many times it's also very, very, very loud. And then I had an experience where a guy sitting at the bar next to me was so completely drunk, he was falling down asleep at the bar top, knocking over people's drinks, his party, not my drink, and eventually fell off the bar stool backwards, just straight, boom, like you're in a cartoon.
right.
Wasn't the best experience of my weekend.
So it's 100 and what is it today? It was 118 yesterday. It was 118 when I was in Flagstaff.
Should be 118 today, probably.
Yeah. So you asked me why I came back. I was in Flagstaff.
You were in
for
Flagstaff.
the 4th.
There was a parade.
Yeah, I went for the balance of the week last week. Just and part of it was to go to be there for 4th of July. There were no fireworks.
Did they drop a pine cone or something?
No, I don't know. Maybe they
That's
did.
New Year's.
I don't think they did. They had no fireworks. There was fireworks in Williams, but due to fire restrictions. So like for the first time in a long time, I didn't hear any fireworks. Not even any bootleg fireworks until the 6th of July. For some reason,
yes.
somebody set something off.
Sure.
That is the last day to legally use fireworks.
The 2nd through the 6th, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although that doesn't stop anybody per se. And it's also for a certain class of fireworks. Basically, if it leaves the ground, it's not legal, but that's the kind of stuff that you see all the time anyway.
This
Hear
year
all the time.
was very quiet in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't silent, but we live right next to the park, and very often people are like, let's go to the park and set off for fireworks, right?
Right,
And
right.
then it's in my house. So we heard some big booms, went out, and indeed they were not. They were on their own street in front of their house, and we didn't have those big, huge fireworks like normal, and it wasn't a 4-day extravaganza. It was maybe a couple hours. So I was very happy about that.
Right.
We stayed home for July 4th to stay with the dogs. And that was one of our days off, but yeah.
Yeah. So the thing in Flagstaff is the 4th of July parade. I think it's bigger. I think there's way more people lining the streets. It's kind of annoying. I think they need to crack down a little bit on it in terms of there are just because they throw candy out, and so there are kids just kind of encroaching to the middle of the festival, and constant kids, you got to get out of the street. It gets old,
You grew up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
What'd you do on 4th of July?
I seem to recall going to the Milwaukee County parks. They were handing out those little tubs of vanilla ice cream with the wooden spoon.
Oh, I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
There'd be a bicycle, dress up your bicycle.
Yeah.
Right. Parade.
Heck yeah.
Or it was like Milwaukee Public Schools and the parks. They both did something. There was a variety show of some sort.
Yeah. Growing up in New Berlin, we did the bike parade every single year.
Yeah.
And my mom was so into it. We would,
Yeah.
both my sister and I would wear costumes. When she was too little, I would pull her in the wagon behind my bike. Like
Right.
it was her thing.
Right.
I should have seen that as a warning.
So anyway, the 4th of July parade.
Oh, yes. 4th of
It's
July
a lot
parade.
of businesses. It's run by the Chamber of Commerce.
Great.
It's sponsored. They broadcast or announce from the Zane Grey bar patio on the second story of the Weatherford Hotel. We were up there the last couple of years. This year we kind of were a little later, so we didn't get the greatest viewing area. And also, like, if anyone cares, like they follow the direction of the street, but like the parade kind of sneaks up on their vantage point. They should really reverse the parade route against traffic. It's all
Blocked off anyways, yeah.
That way the parade would be coming
Long
towards
time
where
coming towards.
the
That
where
makes a lot
the
of
viewing booth is and stuff like that. That's just my recommendation.
Maybe you can help. Maybe get on the board of the Chamber of Commerce.
I just did. I just helped.
You helped.
I just told them what they should
Oh, look, I helped.
that would make it a lot more. But the area in front of Pay and Take was just busting at the seams. Dark skies on that route. They have that one facing on Beaver Street, so they get a pretty good view. That was pretty packed. I ran into the Sandlands, talked to them for a little bit about that. I said, "You guys gotta get some grandstands, go up, vertical." But I think the thing that is attractive to me is just like it is a callback to growing up. It's like you can't really have those kinds of experiences here when it's 118 degrees.
True.
At least in the daytime. I mean,
Bro, it was 97 for a low.
Yeah.
You can't really do.
Yeah. I don't know. Like they have that. They could have like an APS light parade or something at night if they wanted to.
It's still 100 degrees.
Yeah. Well,
When I walked my dogs last night at 8:30
Yeah.
at night, it was 108.
it was 92 or 93 during the day, maybe even 94 in Flagstaff. So this is why I'm saying like, it's really, if you're going to be outside, it's not really that great per se. But
and not everyone has air conditioning.
But all the political candidates kind of show up for this one. I stuck around for a little bit of that part of it. Gary Lake was there. Ruben Gallego was there. I think the Republicans sponsor the parade, so they get to go first. I didn't stick around too much for the end of the parade, or I was, but I wasn't down on the street because I went down on the street for a couple of things. But it's always interesting to see, and like they do the whole Northern Arizona circuit. So like as soon as they're done with this one, they're either in Prescott,
Jump in Williams. Or
Williams, Ash Fork, whatever. I mean, like whoever runs their campaigns must have this logistical nightmare of.
Crown King.
I don't think so.
I don't think they have enough votes.
I don't think the votes there are there for that. But
Yeah.
they had the representatives from the national political campaigns too. But so I mean, it's interesting as a job thing to see who shows up, and occasionally get to talk to people from the campaign teams. The campaign team is different than the political office. The people that we interact with on the regular, there's a little bit of crossover potentially. People go back and forth between those things, but it's always interesting to talk to those folks and find out what why they support their candidates, and what they feel about these kinds of events. I don't know that it changes anyone's vote. Just like a campaign sign, I don't think that changes anyone's vote, but people like to see them, right? People like to.
I have 2 campaign signs in my front yard.
Oh yeah.
First time ever in the history of my life.
Okay.
A very good friend of Bonnie's is running for Chandler City Council.
Oh, nice.
And she is awesome. So not only did I get campaign signs, I'm at that prime spot right by the park.
Yeah.
I got little lights.
Ah.
Yeah. So now even at night, it lights up.
I have a campaign sign in my yard, but I'm not going to tell you who it is.
I also wanted to just make a quick comment about the IHG Crown Plaza downtown Chandler.
Yes.
Service was outstanding.
Yes.
Their staffing level was very high.
All right. No goods or services were exchanged for
It
your
was
mission.
wild.
You didn't.
I was like shocked at how much staff they had, and everything was super smooth. Everyone was happy. Anyways, just throwing that out there.
So I know things are busy in Flagstaff as one would expect in the summer. But have you heard any traffic reports for 4th of July weekend? I think it's a longer period of days because it's
Thursday and blah, blah. Yeah.
I think the people taking the week off weren't staying home. So there is that.
There were a lot of people. I guess like Sunday was the number 1 travel day for TSA ever.
Yeah.
The 6th, 7th.
Right.
Over 3 million people flew that day, which is a record, I guess.
Right.
I know a lot of breweries are closed on 4th of July itself,
Right.
and that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
People have other stuff to do. They're grilling out at home. There were a lot of promos for pick up your beer early, stuff like that.
I did see that. Yeah. Yeah.
National, what is it?
It's National Dive Bar Day somewhere in this weekend.
Oh, all right. We do have some exciting news I'm going to be putting up on social media in the next few days. That is the breweries who won the Phoenix Best of the Valley, Phoenix Magazine Best of the Valley. So we're going to post those.
Uh-huh.
And, Oso
Yes.
was in the national... Okay, I'm going to look.
You got to look because I don't have my phone.
So in addition
Is it the North American Beer Awards?
Yes.
I don't.
North American Beer Championships.
Okay.
U.S. Open Beer Championships.
Okay.
So I know there were Arizona breweries in there, but I specifically know that Oso came in 4th just behind Sun King, Monday Night Brewing, and Third Eye Brewing. These are pretty big players. And Oso Brewery came in 4th in their competition.
Yeah.
So I have to compile everyone that's in there, but yeah.
So Monday night. in
See, this
Georgia?
is what happens when breweries send me their information.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can talk about it.
Right.
If they don't send it to me,
Right.
I don't get it magically through the satellites of beer into my brain.
I drank in Monday Night Brewing Company's founder's garage.
Yeah?
It was a startup.
How was it? Good?
No, it was terrible.
Oh,
I
good.
tell them all the time, and
Okay.
they're like, "Yes, we know."
We remember.
And
We drank it too.
Well, I tell this story because people bag on our brewery and they never give it another shot. But they've gone on to win several awards in barrel aged beers, regular beers. They've expanded from Atlanta to other states in the taproom model, and so they're on the vanguard of a couple things, And
Yeah.
if you went to that garage, you'd be like, nah, never going to make it. But the reason I followed them, the reason I went there, the reason I know about them is because they had compelling stories and they had, and they were quick to hire the right people and not rely on themselves. The 3 founders, I think, Jonathan Baker, can't remember the other two's name right now, but so that's my experience with that brewery on that list. And then what else is on there? Third Eye, aren't they from Wisconsin?
Ohio.
And then
Sun King.
Sun King, yeah,
Heard
Sun
of
King.
those.
They used to be heavily involved in our craft beer awards because they would win. But also, they talked about opening a place in Tucson for many years. It just never worked out. And we lost our camera again, but that's okay. Kind of winding down anyway, right?
I think
Yeah.
other breweries on that list are Urban Artifact,
Oh, that's Ohio.
Boulevard,
That is, Midwest.
Missouri. Toppling Goliath, Iowa. Sonder from Ohio. And Bergen from California, which they distribute here.
Yeah, they do. They've
I think Sonder
partnered.
does too.
They partnered with the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You know what else is going on tonight?
tonight,
At 5:30
Tuesday.
at the Shop Beer Co. The Swedish SCCA, what the
Swedish Community
Chamber of Commerce of Arizona, SCCA,
Oh, okay.
has their passport event tonight at the Shop Beer Co.
I should probably check that out.
I was going to, but now I have to go check on Maggie's cats instead.
Okay. Cats are more important.
They're living
Yeah.
beings that haven't been taken care of for like 5 days.
Yes. Great. Anything else going on? Coming up?
Yeah. I've got some beers that we're going to be pouring at GABF. So I've got our list kind of lined out. We've got Wickenburg Oktoberfest, where we're just about to launch tickets.
Yeah.
We got a lot going on. Arizona Craft Beer Awards signups are now open for breweries to put their beers on the list. I have had at least 3 breweries reach out to me saying, "Where can I?" And if you are not on the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild mailing list, go
Reach out to us.
reach out to us and we will get you on there because it's super important. I also looked through all of our brewery locations list and saw who and who is not on the newsletter list.
Right.
And I've
Okay.
been soliciting them. So if you get an email from me saying, please sign up, just please sign up.
Because
We've got a new website coming in the next week.
Because the next step is texting, and the next step after that is actually calling, and after that,
That sounds what are you talking about?
I'm on.
Okay. I'll figure it out, but
Can't
And I-
avoid us, is what I'm saying.
I force them onto the list, but they won't. Yeah, it's fine. Anyways, yeah, those are the kind of things that are spinning around in my world right now. A ton. Yeah. We've got, this is early July, and in early September, our Arizona Alcohol Stakeholders Group meets for the first time to discuss upcoming laws for the new session of the government starting in January.
Yes. We're getting feedback on some of those things now, so
Yep.
it's too early to tell you what that platform of things is.
Correct. This is why we have our board elected in July rather than December as it was in the past so that we can get the board on board.
All right.
I'm embarrassed for myself.
Let's wrap this up because we've got
2.5 hours.
we've got some work
worth of
to do.
garbage.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Rob, I just want to let you know sometimes beer finds you.
Right on. Everybody, this is not a beer podcast. It's a podcast about beer.
I'm ready to have a great rest of my week.
Great. I'm ready to have another beer.
All
Cheers.
right. Bye.